All right, landowners. So look, you got to make sure you're doing your due diligence. Story time here. So today, got somebody that gave me a call. They got over 1,000 acres. Now with that 1,000 acres, they're thinking in their head, just kind of like we've got a whole bunch of acres over here, about 14 acres total when we add up everything across the street. And so basically the story was they give us a call. They want to say, hey, Franklin, I've got all this property. What do I do with it? And I want you to buy it. So I said, well, do you have any studies on the property? Do you know what's buildable? Do you have, what's your topo boundary tree survey? Do you have a geotech? Do you have a wetland delineation? What items do you actually have that say that your property is buildable so we can actually put some kind of price towards it? And you know what they told me? Nothing. They have zero. So how am I gonna, now you want me to spend the money, which typically, like, look, 1,000 acres plus, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Probably that is a huge master plan, and they are talking about 2 to 4 years of my life, okay? And that's any developer. That's if it's in a good location, and that's if the numbers may even make sense. And now I'm not saying, look, I'm like super happy about the project in the sense of like, man, could I be a part of it? I would love to be a partner in it, and have no problem. I know exactly how I could lead that project and maximize the project, because we could potentially put, it's going to be a mixed use project. So we'll do a pretty much like an industrial park on one side, multifamily on the other, retail on the other side. And we could also do multiple communities as well, townhouses, single family, all of it. And it's actually here in Polk County, which is pretty cool because obviously I'm here in Polk County as well. So what I would say is, I hear this a lot when it comes down to landowners. They are interested, two things. One is potentially hiring me for what my skill set is, which is creating opportunity out of land or development or just real estate transactions in general. When it comes down to it, I do have kind of a knack to just understand how to look at a deal and create a win-win scenario out of that deal. And I don't know, I've done so many transactions, it's kind of like, it's not difficult for me at all. So when you think about transactions, you have to think about on land specifically, what is the zoning? What is the utilities? Where is the utilities? Do I have water? Do I have wastewater? Do I have electrical? Is it even in the area that you have the land? If not, then you're gonna have a really hard time, period. What did the city say? What's the city's feedback on the property? These are all items that you've got to think about. And then you got to check, what is the zoning? Are they going to allow me this zoning that I want? And then if you want to develop it, that's a different ballgame. A lot of times we're going to package it. If your goal is maximum profit as quickly as possible, a lot of times it's not going to be development. It's actually going to be doing the approvals and entitlements, getting a shovel ready, and then selling it off to an experienced developer for a fair price that they can create a win-win scenario on that project as well, period. So if that happens, we're good to go. But a lot of times deals fall apart big time just because you don't have any of the due diligence. You don't understand exactly what's going on with the property. You don't even know what you don't know. That's the other thing. You have no idea what you don't know. So just FYI, I'm in the back of my property. So this is right here. This is actually where the city, they're doing a big western trunk. And so all that's coming on my property right over here. And they're gonna then move it to the left as well. So yeah, it's always beautiful. I really appreciate it all works and everything else. Fun fact, Franklin actually means landowner. So I actually didn't know that until I was going through when I was going through my separation with my wife, and I was like, and now divorced now, and so I was, God told me, it's like, hey, he said, hey, what's the meaning of your name? I remember this, and I was like, I don't know. And he said, look it up. So when I looked it up, it was Franklin means landowner, Andrew means warrior, and Cruz means cross. So I was like, I think this is something I'm supposed to be in, right? So That's kind of how it went down. So anyway, so you've got to kind of look, if you've got property, two things you could do. Number one, if you don't know what you don't know, hire somebody that can get involved. If that could be me, I call it, or somebody else, just have somebody that they know what they're doing. Just because it's gonna save you a ton of time. It's gonna make you a lot of money if you do it right. And sometimes things happen, you know, in a sense of properties, you just don't know. Like, things come up. I had a property, we've got 130 acres off of Polk Parkway. All kinds of stuff has happened. You know, we actually had it pre-sold the first month that we got it. And then the city wanted to open up the front gate to the landfill illegally. But they're the government. So now going through this litigation for years now. So that was totally what I call the third fist. And when you're in development, you got to be prepared for the third fist because you have no idea how it's going to work out. So anyway, hopefully this helps anybody that's listening to this, which is, look, even whatever amount of land, 1,000 acres, an acre, a lot, check if you've got easements. Check if you've got, you know, did you do the reports? Is it even buildable? Do you even know it's buildable? You know how many times I get somebody that says, hey, I want you involved in this. I was like, all right, well, look, if you want me involved, just FYI, one, it's got to be worth my time. Two, you've got to ensure that you've got the capital for these studies because they're not cheap at all. When you're playing in development and land development and building, like, you're playing where the big boys play. Like, for real, what I've discovered is the billionaire families and more. This is where they play. This is where they play. This is the pinnacle of real estate, is real estate development, period. It is the pinnacle. If you could do it at this level, you've got it. You really do. Now, you could have an amazing living of not doing this, and you can still do well just doing houses. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That sufficed me for a long time. And then when I was going through my separation, an opportunity came up that I got a deal of a 9-acre site that I later converted from 1 house to 41 houses. And in between that, I was working on another site. And it just all worked out. That 41 houses, later on, I was able to do the approvals and entitlement, sell the KB Homes for $1.2 million. They named the street after me, Cruz Court. You can look it up, 7187 Cruz Court. And I was off to the races. So, yeah, that's how you go. So anyway, so if you want top dollar for your property, these are things you've got to really understand and just take it from there. All right, hopefully you got something out of this. Bye. Oh, let me know if you did. You're going to leave some kind of comment. It'll be great.